Hi again, everyone who have joined us recently, and thank you all who have been staying with us from the previous talk. This is Quality Engineering Community Day 2023 that is conducted by the Global Testing and Pro Quality communities. We are happy to see all of you here. My name is Alexander Panchenko. I'm working on a position of Software Testing Manager at EPAM Systems Lithuania. And today I will be the moderator of this session. Dear colleagues, reminding you that if you have some questions, you can leave them both on YouTube chat or on via community platform. In case you will have some of the questions after the session, you can address them into Discord, so our speakers will answer them after the session. Also, please note that this session is being recorded. All of the recording will be available in a week after the session. And our next speaker, Trung Nguyen from Ho Chi Minh, with the topic Remediation for Bad Testing Score. When we are preparing for the conference, I asked our speakers to provide some interesting fact about them, and Trung said that he's fond of metal music. So let's find out how heavy music helps Trung to deal with heavy challenges on his project. So please meet Trung. How are you feeling today?
Hello, Alexander. I feel very good. Thank you for the introduction. I think it's very inspiring. Also, the music. I like the music before the session. Really good.
Yes, I think that you feel comfortable today. And I have a couple of questions, to warm up the audience and to warm up to you before the presentation. You're about to talk about your project. So do you remember your first day on this project?
Yeah, of course. I think I will never remember the first day because when I joined the project, the most important person, the person who know the most, was on leave or sick leave because she have COVID for 2 weeks, and I was assigned as a test manager, and then I have to go around and ask a lot, like 20 people of what is going on and try to get information and start for the first 2 weeks. It's really, it's a difficult time, but it's also interesting. I learned the experience from there.
Mm-hmm. Great. And if you can imagine that you have a time machine and you can travel into your first day of the project, could you imagine on this day which challenges the project will bring to you?
To be honest, I don't think that many challenges I can face because I can show you later. This project contains many issues from different angles. So I could never imagine something like that. But also, a nice experience where you face something and really get over it. So I think challenge is good in general.
Great. Thank you very much for your answer. So the floor is all yours. So take care of it and present your slides. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Alexander. Hello, everyone again. So before I even start, let me introduce about myself. My name is Trung. I am quality engineering manager. I'm now head of quality engineering practice in EPAM Vietnam. I have 12 years experience in the IT industry. I specialize in software testing. My expertise mostly with test management, project management, and people management recently. As Alexander mentioned before, I love music and especially heavy metal music. So yeah, that's pretty much it about me. So let's go into the topic today. This is the agenda. I will talk about the context of the project first, then I talk about what is the problems and what did I do, and then what is the outcome of that, and the last part, which is the key takeaways from this. So yeah, let's jump into the project context. So the project is about the risk portfolio monitoring tool for a bank, and there are three products and more than 40 risk reports to do and to check. They already have a existing manual process, but it's not scalable and there are issues with it. This project is to automate and stabilize the process for them. So what is the at this process? So the data source file is generated from different systems in the CSV format, and it will be manually collected in some share folder, and then they will use some Python script to generate reports. So they want to change this process so that the data is automatically transferred and stored in data warehouse. And then we use a subset of data warehouse we call data marts and use that data marts to build the UI where the user can actually view the reports on the UI, not by the Excel file like before. Um, Regarding the resource, they have at the top level, they have project sponsor and product manager. Then they have two project managers, one IT project managers, which is who is responsible for all IT resources, process, device, license, and things, and the business PM, mostly on decision on the business knowledge kind of thing. We have end users who really involved in UAT part, and we have EPAM developers and QA for SIT, and we have a vendor. So this is all of the people that involved in the project and the timeline. So when I joined the project, you can see at this part, this is when the time I joined. Um, the first go live is expected to start in 3 months, and another go live will be after that another 3 months. The thing is that the when I joined, the UAT already start for 1 month, but they cannot make any progress. And let's see what is the problems and why they cannot progress. So we jump into the problems. So the first and the biggest problem of this is lack of planning, and the scope of the testing was huge. So the expectation from client was that they want the new report portal on the new system to have all the risk report, which is the existing reports, and they want to fix also all the bugs with the current reports, and they also will have new reports with new data. So in general, this scope is achievable if they have like a longer timeline and a bigger team. But in this situation, they don't have enough people, and the timeline is quite short, 3 months for a lot of things. Um, During SIT, there was many test cases that were not tested because there's no test data, and it leads to like UAT full of blockers and like untestable test cases. This is the wrong thing with the scope. Another problem is with like dependency, as you can see. So each of the parties here, as I present in different colors, is owned by some people, by some teams. So the data warehouse actually get data from 5 to 7 systems, or maybe sometimes more, and each data source system is owned by some team and some people, and we had a huge dependency on these people because the source data is from this, and then we also have a dependencies on a data warehouse team where they really build the data, transform the data. And we also have the dependency on the vendor who really builds the user interface. Actually, we just involved in this part of the project. That's a problem. At the beginning, they think they just build this one and then it will work. But actually, it's not like that. A lot of things, a lot of you know variance between these data in different database. And all of dependencies here leads to a lot of problem. Like when you have something, you need to clarify, you go to a lot of people. Another problem we can see is the sort of truth, also related to the data source. Um, because this is the old process. Data sources will be processed by the Python script to generate a risk report. But even data source is not stable. Sometimes the data is collected differently, and sometimes it's changed in another time. Um, and even some logic of like the A process, and they want to change that to the 2B process, and the or even the existing report contains incorrect data. So this really a struggle thing, because when we have something that's not matching, we have to go to a lot of people. Another thing is the issue with the well, technical, because data stored differently in different database in different format. We have CSV, we have database, we have a UI on web, and when we really do functional testing, we have to compare everything. So we have to compare the final report on the report portal with the risk report. But if some uh, discrepancies happen or something like not matching, we have to compare the report portal with data marts with data source, and data marts with graph files. So this process, also consume a lot of time when we assign things to someone and wait for them to answer. Also, the resource is another biggest problem, that they have no test managers. And then they no test plan or test strategy. So that's why they were blocked by in the UAT. Um, and they actually use end user to do testing, but like end user, they have no knowledge of testing process and tools. I think this is normal, but then they have no solution for that. And knowledge is centralized as the business PM, who always overloaded by a lot of tasks, not only for this project, but for her daily tasks also. She has some tasks for other projects. And we lack a QA who can really understand the tool, the process, and can execute testing properly. So to sum up, we have 5 big problems with scope, dependency, sort of truth, with technical, and even with the resources of for the project. So what did I do to resolve those? We come to the actions. So first thing I think is the key message here in this presentation is the the scope and prioritize. So because the scope is too huge with current resource and timeline, so we cannot deliver everything. So here, I think we all know about MVP concept of minimal viable product. So I think I utilize the same. um, I had to deal with business to we cannot deliver everything. Now, if we want to keep the timeline, a deadline, we have to only prioritize the existing report as top priority, because it's better to have some products for user to use than like nothing. If we keep keeping the huge scope, then the team cannot deliver, and then at the end, user have nothing to use. So with this, right, anything that outside of the existing report is either the scope or be prioritized. Um, Other lower priority items like trivial defects or the new reports or new data they want to have, like I move to the next phase if they want to really implement that. So with this, we have a smaller scope and it's like achievable. So the other things I mentioned before, it was with the dependencies with different stakeholders. So this is another very, I think, intensive activity that we did is uh, we had different stakeholders and everyone should propose one people, one representative to join the 3 hour defect triage and clarification every day. That happened every day. Uh, So every decision, every issues need to be checked live with people and teams. So let's say the issues with UI, and we back to the database with UI. If it's not there, then we go to the data mart or data warehouse and the data source. So everybody had to be there and to check and answer directly in the call. So every decision, every bugs need to be like rely on like this is be a CR or this should be a bug or should be fixed now or later. And with the help of the a tool called Willow, it's really helpful where as you can see on the screen here, they can have different room for different people. When you're in this room, then you will not hear the people outside of the room, kind of thing. So it's really simulate the real office. So with this, people can join for some time and then leave to their area and then get back if they need them. So this is really useful tool and it's make the collaboration better. And you even can see the people there in the room or not. For the technical, I think it's quite straightforward. Is that because data is in different formats, so we reformat them and import them into database. So and then we implement like automation script to check the data and automatically generate the result report, so we can see what is it the discrepancy and maybe where it's wrong. Also, we define the SLA, like the time that the other team have to fix the issues if we find the issue with their data. Um, and the last thing, it was the resource, the lack of QA. Um, we have to add more QAs. I think, of course, it's obvious. But this QA is just not to execute testing, but because the knowledge is um, distributed everywhere, and these QA need to really execute testing, compare database, support end user, and also communicate with other teams to get information done. Also, we need to train and scale up internal QAs at the bank because um, think of when we're not there anymore, there should be someone take over early and handle the activities. And this QA also support the PM here to document the knowledge on knowledge base. So at the end, we have something on Confluence. So it's other people can really see. Um, all right. So to summarize, I think what I do is just not so uh, uh, different. It just I think it's quite normal. I like prioritize collaboration, reformat data, and like 360-degree support. And what's the outcome of this? We have done this everything. So the scope is fixed and achieved. That been agreed with management and everyone. The testing finished with 95% pass rate. This is the agree with the client. More than 150 defects found and fixed. Of course, the minor one will not be fixed. And most importantly, the product successfully released to production. Um, the internal QAs of the bank, they can took over the testing activity some, and then when we left, they can support after go live the maintenance. And Willow like become the main tool for collaboration during this project, and they utilize this in other projects of the bank also. Um, so those are the outcome of this, but at the end, right, what is the key takeaway from this, from my presentation to summarize? First, I think it's very important is planning is very important. All of the issues that I mentioned in this presentation it happened because of bad planning. There was no planning. There's no test plan, test strategy, and everything. That's why all the problem happened at the end. Um, Second is remember MVP is very important. Minimal or viable product. That my principle is we might release something that very small but useful to user, or it's better than release something really fancy or complicated to user, but it takes so long and we cannot even deliver that. So what is the point, right? So something always better than nothing. So MVP is key. And think as a product owner always, not like a vendor or like a team, like outside of this. I think it's very important in this that I myself and our team really step up and work with different vendors, with owner stakeholders to really collaborate with them to connect people to have information. Otherwise, it won't work. If our team just stay there and say, okay, this is not my task, it will not move anywhere. And I think we want to step up and help right other people. We do the same, and that's how we achieve the release. And the last thing I will say is everything can be done, but with priorities. So it's also related to the scope, right? Client they have a lot of things, and I think it makes sense when they want many things that good for them and for their users. But then we need to see what is more important and what should be done at what time. So usually we don't say no to client, but we say, okay, it can be done, but later. Okay. So that will conclude my presentation about this. So thank you very much, and I will welcome all the questions.
Thank you, Trung, for your presentation. So we already have one question from We Are Community platform. This is our colleague Igor. Good story. This is great that you were this is great that you were able to overcome all the challenges. What could be done to prevent them?
It's obvious planning. So if we have a test managers like earlier to plan on this testing scope, or not to test everything, not to achieve everything, but to have different release or different phases where we have first MVP and then we have more and more and more. So I think it's the best way to prevent the problems, not only on this project but in other projects also.
Okay, thank you, Trung. So we are waiting for more questions at YouTube and at Via Community, but anything special for you came up. Thank you for a great speech. I'm also a big fan of metal and big fan of new sound. I'd like to know which bands is your favorite and name some amazing local bands that you know is not very popular, but you think is great. I think that it's not to the topic of your main presentation, but the question came, so
Yeah.
announcing that.
So really happy to see this metal fan around the IT community. So I am a big fan of thrash metal. So I like Slayer, I like Pantera, and that band in Brazil called Violator. So you can check them out. And for the local band in Vietnam, sadly we don't have that many thrash metal band. I am in one thrash metal band called Obsess. Maybe you can connect me on LinkedIn. I can send you some audio and we can check it out. Really nice to see this comment. Thank you.
A great you've seen, dear colleagues, you now have seen a great way to establish the network inside the organization to ask for some interest to ask for some interest from the speaker. So we have some words of gratitude from Sophia. Thank you, Trung, from YouTube chat. We have 6 minutes also, and I want to ask some of my questions. So you said about different tools and approach so to you that you've done to your project, and what about the the stakeholders? Sometimes when we are preparing for some meeting or the conference and we are asking the stakeholders to come to us and listen to us for a very important topic, but it could be that they are not joining the session. So have you ever been in such situation, and what can be done in such situation?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting question. And it's very relevant questions, and you can see here, right, in this meeting, like 20 people and more. So it's not like that at day one. When I first set up the session, I think only 5 of them will come, and then uh, they feel like they are not like required. But I think it's very important in this case. The we need to find a responsible person. The people really think of the product. I'm lucky that I find one guy from the client. He knows a lot of things. He knows a lot of people, and I will try to involve that people first, of course, and then he can have something already. And then another thing is uh, because we have different stakeholders, different team, and different management structure. So I think the other important thing is escalation. We need to escalation for sure, because we cannot just say like, we cannot be always nicely talk to them like if they don't answer. So I think I'm have another lucky in the luck in the project is that the top management, the project sponsor, and the product manager, they are very supportive. So once any team like are not responding, are not taking responsibilities, I will first reach out to that team, try to explain to them like their help is very important. If they still don't understand that, I will go like of course to the managers, may do some escalation. But um, the escalation also can damage the relationship in the team. But I will again always explain to them that this is not like so complex. You can be there, or like the whole team shouldn't not need to be there. Just like one people, and they can be in the session for like 5-10 minutes, and they can like go out for their work. When we need them, we pull them in again in the meeting area. So that's how it goes. And after time, they understand this is not like really time wasted, but it is actually informational session where they get to know more people and understand more about the product that we are doing, but and understand more about their own product. So I think this is how I do it.
Thank you. So we have 3 minutes only, and the last question I will ask, no questions from YouTube and via community. You said about long 3 hour session. It's kind of long session, isn't it? How can you keep it up?
So I think I have another luck that this happened during COVID time in Vietnam and Philippines. The client is in Philippines, so we all in lockdown. So people cannot go out, and they at home, and they don't have like much activities, so they can be dedicated to the session. So that's how it's happened. And again, right, one more thing I just mentioned before, that we don't like waste like get them like on 3 hours, but then just for some part of that, the first part where we summarize everything, everybody needs to be there. But then when we move into each like issues or clarification, people can leave for their work, and then when we need them, they come back. So that's how we keep it up for I think 2 months. And then when it's get easier, then we stop at 3 hours. We reduce to like 15 minutes to sit up, and they work on their own.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your experience, Trung. And thank you for the whole audience for your questions. This is it for this session. And I'd like to thank you, Trung, for your presentation. And thank you to everyone who joined. I'm passing my word to the next moderator, who is my lovely colleague, Tatiana Kalida from EPAM Lithuania. And I wish you all the best and a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.